Hi guys, welcome back to Next Level Excel, and today we're going to talk about vlookups. Everybody has been asking me about this topic. In the example that we're working on today, we're going to check to see if names show up in another list that we have as reference. And the second thing we're going to be able to do is pull additional data from those lists into the working table that we're using. Let's get to it. All right, so let's get started with our example. This is a table that we're going to be working with, and our objective here is to fill out the rest of the table with the title, hair color, and pet information. That information can be found in these tables right here. This one and this one. Okay, cool. Let's get started by pulling the title using a VLOOKUP. Now, let's go to where we want to drop the information. So we'll go here in E6, type in equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. What value do we want to look for? Angel Ann, the name, and then press comma. If we take a look at this, this table right here, the common thing that they have is the name. So we're going to use that column, that data point, to be like, hey, if you find this in this table, grab the data immediately right next to it. So after you identify, after you state what information you're going to be looking for, you need to tell it where you're going to be looking for that information. And we're going to select this entire table. And let's lock it. I'll explain the concept of locking later, but right now let's just go through the example. Press F4 to lock that range, then press comma, and then what do you want it to return? We want it to return the title. How you tell the computer to return the title is by telling Excel the position that information is in. This is position 1, the name column, and this is position 2. So we're going to type in 2 because we want it to return the title. If we wanted it to return the name, then you press 1. Okay, after you press the location or you indicate the location, type in false. False tells Excel, hey, I want it to exactly match. If you state true, if you type in true, it'll do an approximation, and then sometimes Angel Ann, it'll pull Angel, if there's an angel in this list, instead of Angel Ann. That could be a possibility. So now close the formula and press enter. There you go. Pound and A. Let's copy, I know it shows an error right now, but let's copy and paste this formula down. All right, so if you take a look at the information that was returned, you'll see Jason is resident 1, Brian is resident 2, Paul is medical doctor. There's some pieces of information that were returned and some that were not. How can you tell? Is because it gave me a pound NA. That tells me that these names do not show up on the list that we were telling it to pull from. And let's double check. Let's check Kimberly. Does she show up here? No, she doesn't. But why don't we take a look at this second list? Does Kimberly show up here? Yes, she does. So now we have to figure out how to pull this information into this table, into this list, without disturbing the lines that already have data in it. Now, there's a way you can do this. How I would do it is apply filter on the data set, right? Control-Shift-L is the shortcut. And then filter on the NAs. How do you get to the drop down? It's Alt down. Okay, and let's filter on the NAs. Let's just select that. All right, so what we're gonna do here is do another VLOOKUP, but this time reference another list where the information is. Let's do a VLOOKUP again. Equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. What are we going to look for? The name, Angel Ann, comma. Now, we already did this table. We got a pound NA. We're going to use this one because we know Angel Land shows up here. Let's select this entire set so we can just copy and paste the formula over. Lock the range, F4, comma, where is the title? It's in position 2. So we're going to type in 2, comma, and false because we want it to be an exact match. Close parentheses and enter. There you go. Dentist. Now let's copy and paste across, copy and paste across this entire selection. All right. Why are we getting NAs here? Ivy and Charles. Are they in any of the tables? Let's take a look. Let's apply a filter here so we can quickly take a look. Control-Shift-L, and let's look for Ivy. Doesn't show up. Charles doesn't show up either. Did they show up in the other table? Let's apply another filter. Select everything, Control-Shift-L, and then Ivy, Ivy doesn't show up, and neither, how about Charles? Charles doesn't show up either. So that tells you, when you see NAs like this, that tells you these people, these names or items or whatever don't show up in the lists you were trying to pull data from. And that's okay. Sometimes you'll deal with data that's incomplete. All right, now let's clear the filter. And now we want to fill out hair color and pet. Let's do the same thing. Or actually, let's go back. Okay, now remember here when we wrote this formula, we chose this entire table because it has hair color and pet. The reason why I did that is because I want to just be able to copy and paste that formula and change the position in the formula rather than having to type it over and over and over again. So we'll use that and copy and paste so that we're fast. Copy this, paste over here, and paste it over here. All right. Now, the reason why I know for a fact that Angel Land shows up in this list. She does. So I shouldn't be getting any NAs. Why is it that we're getting NAs? The reason why is because when you copy and paste the formula, it's going to shift the value that it's referencing. Previously, if we look at this one, I'm double clicking on it, it's looking for the name. And we want it to continue to look for the name in the table because that's where they're linked. Here it moved to dentistry. And then over here for pet, it moved to hot pink. So let's change the reference. Let's just move it to this one, Angel Land. And then let's lock it so it doesn't move when I copy and paste the formula over to the next column. Press F4, was that twice? Press F4, hold on. Now press F4 1, 2, 3 times. So it's locking only the column. When you see the $sign in front of the column letter, that means it's going to lock just the column. If you see the $sign only in front of the number, the row number, it's going to lock the row only. Okay, so press enter. Now let me copy this and paste it over here. Now you see everything is, title is dentist, hair color is dentist, pet is dentist. That doesn't make sense. All right, let's look at the table and see where hair color is. Table 2. Hair color is in position 3 and pet color is in position 4. So we're going to change the position number in our vlookup. Okay. Hair color is 3 Here's the position number right here. Change that to 3. Enter. We're seeing that Angel Ann is blonde. Pet is in position 4, so let's change that right here. Enter. And she has a cat. Now let's copy and paste. Let's copy and paste these to the bottom. Ivy and Charles is NA. We know that for sure because they don't show up anywhere. That's fine. We can leave it that way. Cool. Now, for the rest, okay, let's filter on the blanks right here because we want to try and fill these out. Let's filter on the blanks right over here. Jason, Paul, Hazel, Perry, Don, Layla. Okay, let's see if we have hair color and pet information in the table that we pulled their title from. Do we have it? No, we don't. Is it in table 2 right here? No, it isn't. It's blank. So we can't get any more information for those people. All right, so I told you that I was going to explain why it's important to lock your range when you're writing up a VLOOKUP. And the only way I can explain why it's important to lock it is by demonstrating what happens when you don't lock it. So what I've done was pulled this table, or actually I should move it since my video is blocking. Move it right here for the sake of our example. I got the data from this table 1 sheet and put it here just to demonstrate what happens when you don't lock. Let's write up the VLOOKUP and use this as a reference to pull title information into this table. So VLOOKUP, open parentheses. What are we looking for? We're looking for the name, Angel Ann. She's pretty famous today because she's at the top of the list, comma, where are we going to look for that information? This table right here. You'll hear people say table, array, range. It's the same thing right here. And I'm not going to lock it, so we'll leave that alone. We're not pressing F4 in this situation. Do not press F4 for the example. Comma, what do we want it to return? We want it to return the title column. What position is that relative to our range? Our range, this is our range. This is position 1, the name, and this is position 2. So we want 2, comma, false, and enter. We got pound and nay, which is right because I know that Angel Ann does not show up in this list. She shows up in table 2. This is table 1. So copy and paste it down. Paste, paste. Control V, paste. NA. That's all we get. That doesn't make sense to me because I know, let's see, Brian's right here. He shows up in this list. This should have returned resident 2. Same with Hazel. Hazel right here. Resident 3. Hazel's right here. Why isn't it showing up? Let's see what's happening. So if you click on the cell and you press F2, it'll highlight what's being referenced in the formula and you can see. Okay, cool. It's referencing that table. I know Angel Ann doesn't show up. If I press F2 again, cool. All right, it's referencing that table. F2 as I go down. All right. If you look at that red box, you'll notice that it's shifting down as I go down the list. That's not what I want. So that's the reason why Brian, for example, is not being caught in the data set, because by the time we get to his name right here on this list, Brian is outside of the range now. All right, so now if we lock it, let's take a look at what happens. F2, let's lock it. Click on this part of this, what do you call that, range. Press F4, and we want to lock the other one too, F4, okay? enter. Now let's copy that formula and paste it everywhere else. Now we get the information that we wanted it to return. Let's look at F2, cool, F2, oh, look right here. The red box is not shifting, it's staying in place. So when you lock the range by pressing F4 and you see the dollar signs in front of it, it's locking the column and also the row. So it won't move as you copy and paste the formula down, which is what we want. All right, and that's it. That's what you do with VLOOKUPs. If you have any questions or problems that you're trying to solve, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Facebook or text me or whatever, and I'll try to help you out. Laters.